Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the No Bones podcast. A slightly depleted one today, but fear not, Richard fans, he will be back. Our next episode is just busy tonight, taking cats for a meal or some shit like that. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing, but all right, Richard, hope all is well. See you again next time. We're going to you straight off back of UFC Paris Fight Night last week, where Renato Moicano did a pretty decent number on Benoit Saint-Denis. Bust all his face open pretty badly, didn't he, Chris? It was quite an exciting fight, though, wasn't it? It was impressive from Moicano. Let's start there.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah, I mean, he didn't waste no time, did he? I mean, first of all, I'd like to say, leading into it, I actually thought I'd slightly tipped Benoit Saint-Denis, especially with him back in his own city, his own crowd, in his own backyard. I was expecting a really top fight, and to be honest with you, Moicano turned up, got him nice and early. Got his back. He looked smooth as hell, didn't he? I mean, it was a completely dominated performance. I mean, to be fair, it ended up getting stopped, didn't it?
Saint-Denis probably won that second round, to be fair, didn't he? Even though he could barely see. But I think Moicano was just sort of by this time getting a bit of breath back because he knew he'd done damage already, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis is a good grappler, but Moicano looked different level.
He did. He's I didn't realise just how long he's been in UFC for. Moicano, 10 years he's been fighting in UFC. He don't look old enough for that, does he? But he's been shouting out, "Oh, Paddy Pin bitch," as he calls him, the easy money fight. I know that I'd call him that to his face, like, you know. It's. Do you think he'll get that fight, or do you think he'll make him fight up? What do you reckon? He seems to want it. He says he's not bothered about fighting up, is he? He wants money. Does Moicano?
Yeah, I think we said leading into that. I think either way, whichever one of them had probably won, because I think they were ranked 10 and 11 or around that number.
Yeah.
Paddy's just been ranked. It kind of makes a lot of sense either way with them two. If I were Paddy personally, though, I'd be
a bit weary. Oh, yeah. I mean, it'd be an interesting fight, man. They both got great ground game, but Moicano seems, I'd say, maybe has a bit more stand up, right? But Paddy seems to want it. Straight away, he was out tweeting straight after that fight saying, "Let's make it happen" and stuff. So I for one, think that will be Paddy's next fight, Renato Moicano. It's a very tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I've just said about maybe time swerving a little bit. They're all killers in that division, aren't they? I mean, from top to bottom, anyone that's ranked in that lightweight division are absolute murderers. So
yeah, and Paddy keeps proving people wrong. We might do it one more time, but we shall see. We shall see. It will definitely be his toughest fight to date. If indeed that does come off as Paddy's next fight, as Renato's next fight, we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll obviously bring you any news and preview on that should it happen. Let's move on to this weekend in UFC 307 and the return of the number one fighter in UFC at the moment. Got to be on it, Alex Poatan Pereira. Coming in, seems like about 3 minutes since his last fight. This guy just does not stop. He's got no quit. He's fighting again, and he's up against Khalil Roundtree, who looks like a bit of a badass himself, doesn't
he? Yeah, he does. I mean, Alex Pereira, for me, he's ranked number 2 in pound-for-pound rankings, but for me, he's number 1.
It's got to be over the last couple of years.
I mean, he's been just over 3 years. This is his 10th fight. He's a multiple weight world champion. He's more active. Well, he's up there with most. I think he's in top 3 most active fighters in UFC. He ticks all boxes. He's pay-per-view king. For me, he's got the full package.
This is only his 10th fight in UFC. So he's had 9 fights in UFC. He only had 4 MMA fights before he was in UFC as well. So let's say he's only had 13 fights. That's 11 wins. He's had that one loss against Izzy in middleweight at UFC. But rest of them, he's gone through out of his 9 fights. He's beat 5 former champions. I mean, this guy's Izzy Anderson, Sean Strickland, Yuri Prochazka, Jamali Hill and Jan Blachowicz. He's took all them out, going through over middleweight and light heavyweight division. I mean, at 37 though, how long is this going to last, Chris? How long do you think this is going to last? First of all, we'll get to predictions later for this weekend, but how long do you think it's going to last altogether?
Well, if he's fighting, if he's been that active, he's going to have knocks and injuries, surely to God. But when he seems to be wiping people out left, right, and centre, he don't seem to take that much damage. So, but given his age, being 37, that kind of age, he's got another couple of years left of doing this. So, what I think and what I hope he will do is make easy work of Roundtree and then call out Tom Aspinall. I mean, that for me is absolutely fucking dynamite. all fans want it. I mean, me and you, we've talked about it in the past. To me, that does get your blood fucking flowing, doesn't it, that fight?
Yeah, it would be something. I think it might have to be the one as well because, like I say, John Jones says he's quitting, as we brought up on last podcast. He says it's going to be his last fight against Stipe. Obviously, if both of them make it to November next month, or if they both make it to that, they're both going to quit. So it might have to be his next fight. And if he does make small work of Roundtree, who's left in light heavyweight division, only Jamal Hill wanting a rematch, I guess. But is there any need for that? He made short work of him as well, didn't he?
What other option I could see with that is maybe Izzy. If Izzy's out of action a bit, 'cause he's got the last win over him, so possibly would Izzy move to heavyweight again? That could be a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gone on record, hasn't he? I mean, I think it was Ariel Awani's show a couple of months back. Him and his head coach came on and said, "Oh, we're definitely looking at moving him to heavyweight." And he said, "Oh, what kind of timeline?" He said, "We'll see." So I mean, him in heavyweight division. You know what? For me as well, heavyweight division needs that bit. It needs a bit of.
It would inject a bit of excitement into that heavyweight division, like, wouldn't it? You know, it's all about that triumphant minute of Jones, Miocic, and Aspinall. Yeah. Once that's done with, end of next month, sorry, that's going to be done. And if two of them are retired, it leaves that heavyweight division in a bit of limbo, doesn't it? So Alex Pereira stepping up, but will he be stepping up, avoiding Ankalaev, or will he fight Ankalaev first? Because a lot of people think he's the fight for him that might be his downfall in that light heavyweight.
Yeah, he's one out of all this really that can have his gripe with it. Really, he's been in like a contender type of position for over a year. And I personally, though, I'm happy he's not fighting him because I mean, what would you rather? Would you rather see Roundtree, or personally, what would you rather have?
I'd rather see this Roundtree fight because this man can stand and bang, can't he? He can come out. He's a big lad, not as big as he used to be. I'll get onto that in a minute, but he's a big lad. He's Khalil Roundtree, and he's on a bit of a tear at the minute. He's been doing all right. You know, he got banned for a couple of months at the beginning of this year after being found for a substance, but it seemed to be a tainted supplement or something like that. So he only got a couple of months banned. But he's coming back off a decent little run, and he's earned his little title shot now. And you know, you can't write anybody off when they're throwing punches like he throws, can you?
I mean, he's ranked number 8th in division, and has he won 4 of his last 5? Is that right? I'm making sure, but he's about right. He's won 4 of his last 5.
Oh, he's a knockout. He's won his last 5. To be fair,
his last 5. Yeah. He's a pure striker, so I mean, it makes for an entertaining fight. I'm not surprised why matchmakers have made it. It has come a little bit left field with him being so low down, but we've seen over previous times with people coming kind of out of nowhere and taking a chance. I mean, look at Adesanya and Izzy. I mean,
that's it.
That was a similar kind of thing, wasn't it? Going on the radar. I just think personally, though, Pereira if you're going to play that, they've all said it. Oh, we're not going to take you down. They've all said it. And to be fair, most of them don't even try, which baffles me. One thing.
I'd be surprised if Roundtree did, though. If he
yeah. But some other guys, they've barely tried, and it absolutely baffles me. Somebody's a two-way former kickboxing world champion in multiple weight classes.
Yeah.
One of the best in the world.
Left, right, and centre. Big guys like Proachka and Hill and stuff like that. He's knocking them out clean.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming to MMA and he's adapted really well. His takedown defense is definitely getting better. He's definitely becoming more of a mixed martial artist. But even still, where he's going to beat you is by flatlining you, and they're still standing in front of him. Like Jamal Hill would have. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I must say, this fight, somebody's getting knocked the hell out, aren't they?
And I do fear for Roundtree Jr. I mean, he's coming into it. I mean, he's got a hell of a story. I don't know how much you know about Roundtree Jr. and stuff like that. He had an hard time as a youth coming through high school and stuff like that. And he were into his music and stuff like that. And I was doing a bit of research. And a turning point where he went to school one day in an NSYNC t-shirt. And he got a boatload of shit from all his mates and that. Well, mates. In school, and he says, "Ray, it's time to turn me son round here. He had bad mental health and that. He was up to 300 pounds. He was a little fat kid and that. And you wouldn't expect it when you look at him now because the guy is shredded in it and ripped, and he looks absolutely rock solid now. But been through a lot of shit. His dad was like a tour manager for Boys to Men back in day, and he got shot and murdered when he was 2 years old. in Chicago in a robbery. They had a car robbery, carjacking, killed his dad and stuff like that. So he's had a bad time of it. He's come through, and then he took up MMA for a bit of weight loss, and I think it's safe to say it went well. To be honest,
for
it
sure.
was a good decision. And there he is now fighting Pereira. You know what I mean? It's a good little story, man. So I'll get him a few fans, get a few people on his side. I mean, obviously Pereira's got his own tale, but yeah, I mean, he could any contenders, is there? The Pereira hadn't already took out, so somebody had to be next guy, and you know you can't write him off.
No, I mean, not somebody. I mean, he's pretty. He's got like a Muay Thai type of style, but if anybody's after, he jumps all over them and he smashes them to bits. He's highly skilled. I listened to a little clip today with Brendan Loughnane and Adam Cattrall, and they were doing their little prediction. And Brendan Loughnane, you know, former PFL champion, and he's into final this season as well. Yeah. He's predicted. He said he's done quite a lot of training with Roundtree over in Thailand, and he said he's a killer. He said he's really, really high level. And from what we've seen over his last half a dozen fights, he's shown that. He's pretty much.
He's got performance at night in 3 of his last 5, all 5 wins. Performance at night in 3 of them. So that shows you he's in form of his career basically right now, isn't he?
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know what? Is there any pressure on him? So.
No, that's it. Everybody's going to expect Poatan to go in there and get business done, isn't there? So.
Yeah, in one hand though, Poatan never looks pressured, does he? His facial expression never changes, does it? How often do you get a smile out of him? He's just a stone.
See that clip with Nina Drama where she asked him to react in different emotions? It's funny that. It's like angry, just like happy, surprised. you just can't read him, can you? Yeah, I bet he's a nightmare to play poker against.
Oh, but he's...
To be fair. That and you don't want to beat him in case he pulls you across the table, of course. Like, that won't be good either, but, you know.
Yeah, it's mad to think he was changing tyres not so long ago.
Yeah, pissed up.
Yeah, pissed up, yeah. What did Easy cause?
I know. He poked a monster, didn't he? And I'm here for it. I'm glad he did. Just quick. Dana White is as well. It baffles me how popular isn't that, because he don't speak English or anything like that. So you'd think that'd restrict his popularity and things like that. But it's just getting business done in ring, innit? It's just being a badass and going in there. The whole walking in, the whole shammer stuff and all that, and it's the stone face stuff. It's crazy, and it's
apart from language barrier, everything else around him is just. It's pretty unique, you know, and it's not that often people like this come along. I mean. You know, when people come along and they get on that wave and they're smashing people, you know what I mean, on a regular basis and fighting regular, it's just absolutely box office. I mean, I think when he retires in a couple of years, people probably look back and think, fuck, you know, what, you know, when you kind of look back and within that moment, you kind of, I mean, obviously all purists and most of the fans that watch it regular, you know how good he is, how special he is. But I think when you look back on him, if he carries on doing as he's doing over the next couple of years, he'll probably go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. He's in debate already after 3 years, which is extraordinary.
Listen, if he does move up to that heavyweight division and then gets that strap, which, like you say, it's feasible. If that's given to Tom, if other 2 retire after that, then Potan's probably up there with a shot straight away. So. 3-weight champion. It's got to be up there in conversation.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah. A short amount of time. I mean, with Roundtree, it would have helped if back in UFC 303, the doomed night that was UFC 303, it was supposed to be Chandler and McGregor. That obviously got replaced with Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka 2, which were another devastating knockout that kicked it head in the beginning of round 2. That was great. The undercard, the co-main, let's say, for that one was supposed to be Roundtree against Jamali Hill. Originally, so we'd have had a better idea what sort of fight he'd be up for had that happened. That did not happen, obviously, and it ended up being replaced with Roman Dolodzi, who we'll get onto. He's also fighting this weekend again. So yeah, it's while he's had some good wins and he's on a bit of a tear, Roundtree. He's relatively untested right at top shelf, isn't he? So this is needless to say, it's going to be a big ask.
I think that, like you've just touched on there, I think the fight with Jamal Hill would have been a very good marker, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you'd have known a bit more about him then, or you'd have seen him at a higher level, a higher caliber of fighter. But yeah, you can't be writing somebody like that off. Somebody with that much power in the hands, who's on a win streak, and there's not much pressure on him. He's a dangerous man, isn't he? He's a very dangerous
third
man.
most knockdowns in light heavyweight history, most knockdowns in a single bout in light heavyweight history. So he's got something about him, lad. He's got something about him.
Yeah, he certainly has.
Yeah. But we will see how that goes. I am looking forward to that fight this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning, as they do. We'll see how Alex goes on. Well, I suppose everybody will be expecting him to march on and doing what he's doing, but we shall see. Okay, co-main event, championship bout in the women's bantamweight, Raquel Pennington, and the return after a couple of years out of Juliana Pena. She was doing things herself just before Amanda Nunes busted her forehead open in that rematch there. She had strap for a minute.
Yeah, she kind of shocked world, didn't she, when she beat Nunes?
She did have, yeah. Well, it's gone down as one of the biggest upsets in UFC history, really. Yeah. Nobody were expecting it all. I mean, she came back, got that. She come back, tried that rematch, and obviously Nunes turned it back round. But she was looking strong. Been out for 2 years on back of that, though. So Pennington, it's the first defence after she won vacant one after Nunes has obviously retired. So this is her first defence. Pena's coming back in. What do you think? Do you give her a chance? Do you think she's got a chance to get her strap back, or is Pennington gonna keep it?
I think Pena will probably win. I think it's close, and I know going back, I've checked back on a few bits today. They were from about 10 years ago. They were both in Ultimate Fighter House, and there were a lot of shit going on between them two. So there'll be no blood loss.
Yeah, did they come through in the same year?
Yeah, they were in the same house together, and they were complaining.
Yeah, both came through.
They were complaining about each other, slagging each other off. Because one was loud and fucking doing makeup and hair dryers blasting and all this type of stuff.
I wonder which one that was.
Yeah,
she's a bit of a glamour pussy, she's her opinion, isn't she?
Oh yeah,
for a fighter.
Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they've both got a lot of decisions on the record, haven't they? So
yeah,
I'm not sure how it's going to play out. Really, this is an hard one to judge.
It definitely is, especially with her being out for a couple of years. Pennington's been quite active in that. She's on a 6-fight win streak, culminating in winning that vacant title last time against Mayra Bueno Silva.
Yeah, we watched that, and that was a strange fight. Can you remember?
Yeah.
For me, I think from Silva, it was a strange performance. I couldn't quite get my head around what was going on.
What were you trying to say? It was a bit dodgy, or?
No, I didn't. The decision was right. I just thought that was for the title, wasn't it? Was it for vacant title? Was it vacant title?
Yeah,
it was strange. I just expected a lot more from that fight. There were a lot of, when you were watching it didn't feel like it was for the title. It felt a bit subdued, a bit like there wasn't much going on. I didn't quite understand what bloody Silva was trying to do, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
But yeah, that went 5 rounds. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I won't be betting. I'll be betting at going full distance. That's what I'd say. He'll probably got distance.
Yeah, like I said, these two they do go distance quite a lot, particularly Pennington. I mean, Pena obviously she got that rear naked choke over Amanda Nunes that shocked the world back in would it have been about 2021, something like that by now. Yeah. She got that, so she has got them credentials are putting them away. But yeah, I'm fully expecting it to go to a decision, and just depends on what Pena's like after 2 years out. We've seen it before, haven't we? We've seen absolute class acts come back after that sort of time and look out of the depth. It depends how much dedication and training she's had getting back in there. I mean, she's got the motivation to get that strap back, and it doesn't have to be Nunes that she takes it off. So yeah, like there, she didn't manage to get any defensive last time because it was a straight rematch. Yeah, she lost it. So the motivation's certainly there.
I think that division's needed a bit of a kick up arse, hasn't it? Some fresh meat. And I think
all top 4 are fighting out this weekend. So they've got champion in Pennington. Pena is ranked at number 1. Then Caitlin Vieira at number 2 and Kayla Harrison at number 3. So all top 4 fighters in that division are fighting this weekend. little round robin thing going on there, and I'm sure. Well, we're going to get on to Kayla Harrison in a minute, but yeah, I'm sure she'll be keeping a close eye on winner of this one.
I mean, for me, without a shadow of a doubt, Kayla Harrison's the one to watch. I mean, if you're going to move on to her next, how bloody classy was she on 300, mate? How classy was she?
Yeah, well, we'll skip one and we'll go straight to that, and then we'll go back to Jose Aldo and Bautista. But yeah, we might as well go into that there. Yeah, Kayla Harrison, she came into UFC, like you said, after spending a full MMA career in PFL, winning world titles and stuff like that. Came in at UFC 300 against the legend that is Holly Holm, and she took it to water, didn't she, mate?
Oh, she demolished her, mate. I mean, that was the biggest, well, it still is probably the biggest event you've ever seen, isn't it? UFC.
Yeah, 300 there.
You know, with card and everything, and it's such a milestone. She come in, I think she dropped a shitload of weight. People were worried about her going into it. Is she going to make weight? She weighed in on, but I mean, she looks huge, didn't she? I mean, I tell you what, mate.
She looks stacked, don't she?
Oh, you're not kidding.
I saw something the other day. They were asking the UFC fighters which celebrity they look like, and she said Brock Lesnar. Fucking hell.
I won't argue with her, would you?
No, not at all. Over anything.
But yeah, for me, she's definitely one to watch in division for sure. I mean, the other girls who were fighting prior to that, they'll be looking over the shoulder 100%.
Well, it's only a second fight in UFC after that impressive win over Holly Holm at UFC 300. So they will all be looking over the shoulder. But she had a great record in PFL. She's come up again. She's one that's towards what you'd say end of a career. I'm guessing 34. So it might just be a little short tear in UFC. But
I think Holly Holm was 40 plus. Was she 41ish? I think off the top of my head.
Well, yeah.
But that was a proper test against Holly Holm, who was a seasoned veteran herself. Had been in UFC a long time. Mm-hmm. She had some good wins, Holly Holm, against like Rousey and people like that, and she just absolutely took care of her, didn't she? They looked like they were different. She couldn't deal with them.
No.
That style she's got, and she's for sure a future champion. I mean, you could put any money on it you want, I'd reckon.
Yeah, I mean, she's up against Caitlin Vera, who's ranked one place above her in rankings, but obviously there's caveats to that Harrison's ranked at number 3 and she's only had one fight in there, so she's a heavy favourite. Is Kayla Harrison for this? But Caitlin Vieira, she's got an 8-3 record in UFC, a lot of decision wins, but she has bet Miesha Tate, Holly Holm. She's lost by decision to Raquel Pena with Pennington. Sorry, who we've just been talking about. So you know she's not a bad fighter, but yeah, as I say, I think everybody's going to be expecting Kayla Harrison to be taking care of business. Let's say. Yeah,
for sure. But it's probably not worth putting the money on because she's heavy favourite. I mean, you'd have to lump on to get his in a beer.
You said sure 9-1 on or something like that.
Yeah, it's high up. You don't usually see them type of odds in UFC. It's rare, but that one
boxing odds, them, aren't
they? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry, I'm watching game in background. It's 2-2 now, by the way.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. The fight that we skipped out there was Jose Aldo continuing his tear up the bantamweight division. Currently ranked at number 10, up against Mario Bautista, ranked number 11. Aldo in the second fight of his second coming in UFC. He's looked all right so far, but he won his first fight on his return in UFC 301, the absolute terrible Brazil event that were UFC 301, such a letdown. Maybe it were on back of the other two that were great, but you know it didn't hit very well, that one. But he came back, he won, beating Jonathan Martinez by unanimous decision. Do you think Jose is gonna continue his rise up the rankings in his second coming?
I mean, first of all, I'd just like to say Jose Aldo, what a legend he is, first of all. He's right up there.
One of the greatest.
You know, with greatest of all time, for sure. What he did early on in his career was absolutely incredible. As his career got further and further towards the end, he lost a couple, and he won. Do you know what I mean? Then he had the break. The last notable one for me were against Merab. So he lost on points to Merab. And everyone thought that were about it. But him being in, he has a couple of years off, comes back to to fight in his own city, in his own country in Rio.
Little introduction to UFC Hall of Fame in between.
Yeah, So that must have got his whistle wet again, and he's jumped back in.
Thought they still like me, these guys. I'm doing a bit more. Fuck it.
I mean, against Martinez, he went the distance, but it was fucking for somebody of his age. It was against a young guy who were ranked. I think he'd won his last 4 or 5 again, and he put like a bit of a clinic on feet. I mean, he looked outstanding, like he'd never been away.
He did. You like I've said just before there. You worry when we're talking about Julian Pena. You do worry for them when they've spent a couple of years out and such a time out to see if they've still got that desire to come back and do it right. But I think we can certainly say that Jose Aldo did do that within his return, didn't he?
But yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Just before the Merab fight, he beat Rob Font, he beat Munoz, and he beat Marlon Vera. So, and that's all. I mean, his resume is absolutely incredible. I mean, he's fought everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's how much damage to his legacy. I know he's well known for being up there on GOAT conversation and stuff like that. But how much damage to his legacy do you think that 13-second knockout by Conor McGregor did? It did a bit, didn't it? It must have done a bit.
I think it took McGregor to a different level, didn't it? And it kind of, because he'd not lost for the best part of 10 years, Aldo. So when that happened,
it was certainly unexpected.
He went in, he got caught, didn't he? And he got beat in 13 seconds. Obviously, that's demoralising and crushing. It must have crushed him, because the build up to that were insane, wasn't it? It got called off and they pushed it back, and then McGregor fought somebody else. And when they eventually fought, the pressure going into that. But he
got hit square on chin by one of the best hitters in business, didn't he? You know what I mean? And anybody that in that weight division wouldn't have been able to take that shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
it was high to Conor McGregor, and it was just unfortunate that Jose Aldo happened to be on the end of it, and because he'd been on a 10-year unbeaten run and stuff like that, and people were expecting, is this the man that's going to shut up this mouthy Irishman? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't turn out to be that way, and I think it might have taken his legacy a little bit, but not too much. But
to all purists, though, I mean, anyone who used to watch it, back in day, let's say back in day, he were on a different level. Then to go that long beating guys who he beat for the best part of 10 years was incredible, and even towards the end of his career now, like we're saying, I mean, he lost to Merab on points. I mean,
everybody loses to Merab on points.
Yeah.
I'd lose to Merab on points, man. He wouldn't knock me out the gun.
But I mean, again, like beating Vera, I mean, beating some other guys. He's fought Peter Yan, he's fought Volk. He beat Moicano. He stopped Moicano. Money Moicano in second round. He finished him.
Yeah.
That were back in 2019. Beat Jeremy Stevens. He's been in with absolutely
that guy.
I think McGregor's still looking for him. He beat Frankie Hector.
Yeah, no. So good, Bautista.
What I would say that I'm not. You know what? That father time though. I mean, how long can you really go on for? And I actually think he might have his hands full with this kid.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough fight for him. Bautista is an unspectacular fighter, and he's a pro. He knows what he's doing. He'll get down there. We probably won't take any risks, which probably goes against somebody like Jose Aldo, who'll want someone to come in, take some unnecessary risks to try and get a name like Aldo on the resume, and for him to take advantage of that. Bautista doesn't seem to be that type of fighter. He'll come in with a professional view, still trying to get a name like Jose Aldo on his resume.
Well, yeah, I mean, Aldo's a legend. Who wouldn't want to fight him, really? If he's round about your weight division. And at his age as well, why wouldn't you?
Shame he's a Chelsea fan. Anyway, never mind. Everybody's got the things.
But yeah, and Bautista, he's won his last 6. So it's not like they're giving Aldo a couple of guys around his age who are, that's a good matchup. They're putting him in with ranked guys.
They are, and that's what UFC do, don't they? I mean, they don't look at Zombie. Zombie's last fight, he got an absolutely great send off, but it was against fucking Max Holloway. You know what I mean? That's not an aim. We'll send you off into sunset with a nice win, is it? It'll be a nice easy fight. You've got Max Holloway, mate. There you go. See you later. But yeah, there's no mercy from Dana White in that sort of category. Well, which is what we're here for, isn't it? It's what we're here for. No point feeding him all useless.
That's why sport's so good, isn't it? Nobody gets passes, do they? Very rarely they get passes. Sometimes these young lads coming up, you know, like O'Malley, that type of guy, he gets, you know, spoon-fed a few fighters.
Yeah, it happens though. It does happen with some of them, without a shadow of a doubt. They want to get certain people up there, don't the ones that are going to sell PPVs or they think are going to sell PPVs. Some of them work out, some of them don't. You know what I mean?
I told you about O'Malley, didn't I?
You mentioned it once, mate, and then you totally flipped like everybody else. That guy will be back. Don't worry about it. We've got others though, haven't we? We've got others that are getting the same treatment at a minute. You've got your Bo Nichols and your Joe Pfeiffers and that are getting the treatment. You know what I mean? But we'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long that lasts until one of them gets in there and gets banged, and then Dana's got to look for his next one, hasn't he? Shamrock, Dana. Look at him. Anyway, the last fight that we haven't talked about on the main card is Roman Dolidze against Kevin Holland. It wasn't going to be long before Kevin Holland coming out another fight at a random weight. You know what I mean? Dolidze, number 10. It's a middleweight bout. Dolidze is ranked number 10. Kevin Holland's ranked number 15 at welterweight. But we all know Kevin Holland can't say no to a fight. So he's in there taking him on this time without having a middleweight ranking. But, you know, Kevin Holland don't give a shit. Kevin Holland does Kevin Holland, doesn't he?
Yeah, and is that opening up main card, that?
It is, yes.
Yeah. That's Kevin Holland's spot, isn't it? But I tell you what, he had an impressive win last time against the Polish guy. You have to forgive me. Oleszejczuk, is it?
Oleszejczuk, yes. Well done, Mr. Johnson. Well done.
Well, yeah, he submitted him, didn't he?
You've been asking your missus how to pronounce that all day, haven't you?
No. You can't pronounce that.
I had to ask my next one last time before I had to pronounce it.
But yeah, he's just up and down all the time, isn't it? I mean, you've got to give him his props. I mean, apart from Poatan Pereira, there's him and one other guy. They've got like the record for most fights over the last, you know, they're active as hell.
And he takes tough fights as well. You look at his last five: Michael Chiesa, Jack Della Maddalena, Michael Venom Page, and then, like you say, Oleszejczuk. It's not taking easy fights, is he? Well, Stephen Thompson before that as well. Posniby, Thompson, Chimaev.
They're all proper guys, aren't they? I mean, them you've mentioned, they're some of the best in the world. I just think if you don't win this, he's not going to be ranked, and I'm not sure if you can be putting him on.
Well, that's it. His record does show his fearlessness, because it's a very mixed bag. In it, he'll win a couple, then he'll lose a couple, and he's sort of in and out. He's never really gone on a streak of either, and that probably screams to the.
They like him though. Sorry, mate. He's always entertaining, and he'll fight in multiple weight classes, and he don't give a fuck who he'll fight. I'd pay to watch him every day of weeks. I
enjoy watching him every time he fights, mate. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, his character, he's a good fighter, and why wouldn't you want to watch him? I just think there's only so many you can really lose before you drop out of that top 15, and he's actually ranked 15th. Then
that's it.
It don't look good, does it?
It's not long before you're getting cut, then, is it? And then you're looking to earn a living, then, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But Kevin Holland seems to me like he's a bloke that's got his fingers in a lot of pies. I'm sure he'll be all right once he puts them gloves down in the middle of the octagon. Yeah, he was Dolidze. He's got himself back into win column at that Doom 303 event. He beat Lionheart Smith. After coming in, that was the fight. Smith against Dolidze was the fight that ended up replacing Khalil Roundtree and Hill. Yeah. Which obviously, in turn, the main event was replaced, which was supposed to be that doomed Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler fight. That's, let's face it, never going to happen. But but it won it beating Lionheart Smith. Dolidze, it shows it's got a bit about him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what they're feeding people in Georgia.
I don't know. There seems to be a few of them coming through, don't there?
Yeah, it's definitely perfect.
Taporia. Well, Taporia, depending on which crowd he's talking to.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you Spanish, mate? Or are you
Georgian? Well, I think he does more talking than fighting at the moment, doesn't he? I mean, he's being active recently. But yeah, I mean, Dolidze, he's a bit, in many ways, he's a little bit similar to Holland. He's winning one, losing one. He's a bit all over the place with it.
Yeah.
I mean, like Marvin Vettori, he's lost to him. His last time out, he beat Smith. Smith, I think he probably got Smith at the right time. I mean, he's
coming towards the end. He's Smith.
Fair, yeah, he looks a bit past it.
Yeah, he's been good, like, but I think he's.
This is definitely one which, if I'm honest, I won't know which one to back.
No, but I'm sure it will be entertaining, as we've said. Mr. Holland keeps us all entertained with his conversations mid-fight and stuff like that. Well, he's telling them what to do and how to fight and talking through fight while simultaneously sometimes getting his ass kicked. It's all good fun, isn't it? It's good. But yeah, so that wraps up what we think of UFC 307 main card. There were one on prelims that you wanted to mention, wasn't there, Chris?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Joaquin Buckley. I think that could be a very good fight on prelims.
How old's Wonderboy now? About 55.
He still looks shit hot, doesn't he?
Does, mate. He's a technique. He's a technique genius. Like, he's definitely going to go on to coach. Like, well, he's probably doing it already. Let's be fair, but he's definitely going to be. He's going to be cornering people in future. He's that guy for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I look back over his record. First, is he 41?
Yeah, he's around 41. Yeah,
I might be talking shit here. He's still ranked in top 9 division. He's 41 year old. I looked at his previous fights for the last couple of years. His last fight against Rachmanov.
Shavkat, yeah.
Yeah, Shavkat. One before Thompson. One before Bahal Mohammed, current welterweight champion. One before Gilbert Burns. One before Neil. Vicente Luque. It's like he's been amongst it, and because I looked at it first and I thought, you know what, he's lost 4 of his last 5, but the guys, he's losing to absolute elite guys, isn't he?
He is.
I mean Shavkat and current champion Bahal Mohammed, who's just put a clinic on our man Leon Edwards.
Well, I'm hoping that's next top fight in that division, Shavkat against Bilal, to be fair. Well, I think that's the fight to make in that division. Yeah,
it is. So, yeah. When I first looked and thought, I thought you might be writing him off a bit soon. I mean, he's in incredible condition. He looks bloody 35, doesn't
he? Yeah, he does looks and his moves like a man much younger than 41 years old. Like, we all hope to get that fight against Michael Venom Page, don't we? We all know that technically that's going to be something that would be exciting to watch. I think nearly every MMA fan wants that fight to happen before they both retire and finish up for good. It would be a good one to get on card. So Dana, everybody's fucking wanting it, and I know you watch us, so get it sorted.
It'd definitely be like a karate combat type fight, though, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's what people want to see, really, though, isn't it? Most people.
Also doing some mad shit. Not Venom Page doing mad fucking twirly kicks, and that's why we like fighters like that, innit? And Rodriguez, that type of guy. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Anyway, as we said, that wraps up the UFC for this weekend. But we do want to move on to another couple of things. It'll cover a couple of friends at show that we've had on in the past that have announced fights coming up. A couple in BKFC, in Anthony Holmes' interview in past there. If you look up on his YouTube channels and stuff like that, you'll be able to see the interview we did with Anthony Holmes last month or whenever it was. He's fighting up in Newcastle in November, along with a guy who we're going to have in the future, in Matty Hodgson. He's on there. You've got a bit of news on their opponents and what's happening in November with them. Why don't you, Chris? Fire away.
Yeah, so we had, like I said, we had Anthony Holmes a couple of months back, and he were chumping at bit to get back in. He looked in incredible shape, didn't he? I mean, he come on in with full of beans. We really enjoyed a sit down. He was the first kind of BKFC guy we've had on, bare knuckle guy. We thoroughly enjoyed it. There's a few other guys that we've been in touch with, and they're wanting to come on as well. Yeah,
we're going to throw us into BKFC ring, guys, and hopefully we'll start bringing you some more news on them. But yeah, Anthony Holmes, I thought he would have fought earlier than this, to be honest, mate, where he were talking to us. But he's finally got that date now, 2nd of November up in Newcastle. And he'll be looking to get a win, won't he?
Yeah, he's fighting a South African kid called Charles Wasserman, if I'm pronouncing it.
Wasserman, yeah.
Wasserman, yeah. Yeah, I mean, anyone that knows him, I mean, he's pretty popular around our parts, isn't he? I mean, he's a ferocious guy. Anthony Helms come across really well. Like I said, we thoroughly enjoyed having him on.
Yeah, great guy, great record in fighting. There, he's got in his BKFC career, he's 4 wins, 2 losses. The Wasserman is 1-1, and he's lost war against Matty Hodgson.
Yeah,
who is in a championship fight against Conor Cook on the same same card. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. That's an English light heavyweight title fight. So that'll be definitely worth keeping an eye on. I think those 2 guys, well, just mentioned, they're out at the same camp. Like you said, Anthony Owens were mentioning they've started a new team. There's them 2, and there's a couple of other guys. There's Team Valor, I think, if I'm pronouncing it right.
That's right, yeah, Team Valor, yeah, guys with Joe Lister and that you were talking to us about.
Yeah.
We are going to get these guys on and bring them to you, to audience, so hopefully so you guys can get to know them a bit better as well and see what their ambitions are for BKFC.
Yeah, the head coach, Neil Wayne, a former UFC fighter from back in the day. Remember seeing him fight Shane Carwin. It didn't go his way, but I mean, I was still buzzing to see a local guy, at UFC in big time.
Yeah, of course, one of the Trailblazers, one of the original guys, much like Scott Askham, who we had on recently as well, like one of the original Trailblazers, fought British MMA scene. And it's gathering some steam, his BKFC, mate, innit? And obviously, like we said before, there's the fact that Conor is getting involved is only going to make it a bit bigger, I think. I think he's enjoying it in the last event. We seen him walking out with his fucking unlit cigar and that, and his billionaire strut. Getting involved, and I think that might be Conor's next fight. Actually, not that a billionaire like him needs to start having bare knuckle fights, but I suppose you get addicted, don't you? And you want that. You get addicted to getting punched in face, man. And I think that's where his next fight might be. Honestly,
you know what? I heard a bit of. I saw something online today. I can't remember his bloody name now. American guy who's going to the bare knuckle scene as well. Masvidal. Sorry.
Right.
He's announced that he might be coming back to UFC next year, and if he does, I think that is absolutely tailor-made for Masvidal and McGregor. They're both involved.
I think everybody wants to see that fight at some stage, aren't they?
Oh mate, that would do some serious numbers. I mean, Masvidal's one of the most popular guys over the last.
Has Conor got 1 fight left on his contract at UFC? I think he's only got 1 at the minute, hasn't he?
No, I think he's got 2.
Is it 2?
All the whispers I've been hearing, I've seen online or whatever.
I can't see him doing 2 more at UFC.
During renegotiations for UFC with Amazon and all these, these big providers, they're kind of holding McGregor back. Because when they're going for renegotiations, it looks a lot better if you've got your main guy or the main guy in sport who's got 2 fights left on his current contract rather than 1. And it does it's been frustrating, every other day he's calling somebody out and fights on and off and all this, so it's very frustrating with him. You just want to see him again, don't you? I'm not sure what level he's going to be at, but
you just want to see him get back in Octagon because he just brings the showtime, man. He's Mr. Big Money, isn't he? He's Mr. Hollywood. Get him in there, get it down. We all love to see him, whether it's a win or a loss, or see where he is to either poke fun or see how the mighty have fallen, or to appreciate him being the absolute athlete that he no doubt is. But yeah, okay. So moving on from BKFC, we're going to have another mention for another friend at show for us, and fight announcement that he made this week in Shamrock in Octagon. He has finally announced his next opponent after beating long-time rival Pavel Poatan in Czech Republic. Last month for it, month before, a couple of months ago now, weren't it?
He told us he wanted that one, didn't he? We were saying to him when we had him on, do you want to bypass him? You ranked violent for Courtney. And he says, fuck that. He says, I want that fucking fight. I want that guy.
That was a personal thing, that one. He wanted that. And he made short work of him, didn't he? He choked him out in quick time. Impressive quick time as well. Yeah, surely USC's got to be looking at Shem now.
You'd have to think so. I mean, his quality and everything about him, we've said it before. I mean, first of all, his skill as a fighter, his fighting skill,
inside and outside octagon. Yeah, his box office,
his backstory. I mean, he's got the lot.
Yeah, much like his friend and training partner Paddy Phillips. You know what I mean? He's got that Scouse pants. He's got that charisma that they've got over there. He divides people. You know what I mean? He's got the whole "I'm Scouse, not English" thing going on and all that. You know, he divides people. People don't like him and people love him. And a lot of people that don't like him are Czech Republic people and Slovaks and stuff like that, where Octagon is massive. But he's going over there again to fight another Czech fighter who wants to avenge the loss of Poatan to Shamrock. He's his friend. He wants to get it back for him. He's been giving it big licks, saying he's going to do that. I think, where's he ranked? I think Shem's ranked at number 9.
Yeah, Shem's 8 and he's 9. They're pretty close. On Shem's debut a couple of years back, these guys should have fought, and for whatever reason it didn't go ahead. But Shem, doing what he does, is going into this guy's backyard in front of 18,000 people in Czech Republic. I mean, he's got balls. He believes in himself, and he usually backs it up. He backs up his confidence, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've seen that up close and personal. How much belief he's got in himself, how much desire. And like I say, the stuff that he did as a youngster to get himself to where he is today. I mean, this guy deserves his shot in UFC, in our opinion. We've said it a few times before. Shem knows that. And like we say, keep going over to Czech Republic in these big stadiums or big arenas and stuff like that, when he's going to get full of hate because he's choking out mostly their top guys. Balls of steel, lad.
And he'll do the same again.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think he's maybe very top of that division might give him a few issues. I think anywhere outside of top 3 or 4, I think he's head and shoulders above the rest of them.
Well, 11 wins in his professional career, 11 finishes. Says a lot, doesn't it?
Just quickly, when we've talked about this in past as well, there's like Luke Riley, who, last weekend in Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He basically got signed to Dana White's Contender Series and something happened. So, anyway, he didn't end up going. Anyway, he headlined Cage Warriors a couple of weekends ago and absolutely flatlined this kid in first round. And straight after, he's like, that Dana, you know where I am.
That big right hand.
He's out at the same gym as well. So you look at Shamrock, you look at him, you look at Paddy, that gym over there, next gen, it's fucking cooking, mate. It's bouncing, that gym.
It is.
Not to mention like George Staines, and there's another half a dozen at least that we could mention.
There's plenty of guys out there, and again, hopefully we'll nip over there at some point and introduce these guys to you guys if you're not aware of them yourselves. I'm sure a lot of you are, and I'm sure a lot of you aren't as well. But
to me, it just screams for a UFC event, a fight night event next April, May. I mean, it'd be absolutely perfect. There's so many guys over there.
Like showcasing young British talent and stuff like that. It would be a great event because there's so many at the moment coming through, and that's free to Porto. Jesus,
people will be laughing at this, don't you?
Yeah,
we fucking shite, aren't we?
Hello to all our Leeds fan followers who will be laughing at me wearing this shirt and watching the team lose in the background. I'm sure you'll be thoroughly enjoying that. But well,
all these scouts are just calling out that. I'm sure they'll be on the side, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love them scousers, mate. As long as they're not involved in football. If they're involved in music or fighting, they're my guys, mate. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Especially fighting ones, definitely my guys.
Yeah. We'll look after you, won't we?
Yeah, they can play music and fight, but not so much for football.
Yeah, fuck the football.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, big shout out to, we've got a fan who's always getting in touch with Steve Irvine from up northeast. He's always texting in, so big shout out to you, mate. Thanks for your support. Keep watching.
Yeah, Steve, we appreciate all the support you get. We support that everybody does here. If anybody else wants to shout out, let us know. We can give you shout outs and stuff like that. It's not a problem. And we appreciate all the support you guys give us, and we appreciate keep giving views and the subscribes and that. If you all